we had good practice today on ourselves and try to take some target areas that we think we could get better at in terms of offense, defense, and special teams, and did some quality control work and then worked on some future opponents. And then we'll take a day tomorrow and do a lot of the same, ramp it up a little bit tomorrow, and then get to work on Florida on Thursday.
Coach, kind of a two-part on the two targeting calls. I guess number one, what kind of feedback did you get back from the league about those? I guess especially Jonell's, it just seemed like that wasn't quite the greatest. Just maybe the first, but also if you're a defender and your offensive player is ducking his head, what is he supposed to do in that millisecond of time to keep him from having that kind of collision?
Yeah, not duck his head. I mean, that's what the defender's supposed to do. I mean, if that's my son out there and he's got the ball and he's running the ball, I don't want him ducking his head with the ball like their offensive player did. I certainly don't want our defensive players ducking their head or the crown of their helmet being used. It's very dangerous. I can't get into the commentary, but both of those were really close, unfortunate, borderline situations, because one came from an offensive player lowering his head, and then Dan mirrored it, and then Jonell's is really tough because he's trying to avoid helmet to helmet. He's trying to avoid going high, which most NFL offensive players would rather you hit them high than hit them low, because their legs are their career, and it's tough. They're tough calls in both situations, but everybody's trying to work on the safety of the game, and that's the focal point.
Kirby, you mentioned just looking at target areas of improvement. Just as far as the secondary goes, where do you want to see that unit continue to grow and get better down the stretch, and just overall, what are your thoughts on that group so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, we've been a work in progress. I don't know if I can say how young we are, but we are new. We're relatively new. We've got 3 guys that are starting in the NFL, and anytime you have 3 guys that are starting in the NFL, that probably means they played for you at least 2 years, and those guys all did. So there's a lot of growing up that's had to do back there, and they continue to work to get better. And all you can ask your kids to do is work, compete, be competitive, be tough, and they do that. And I'm pleased with how hard they work and compete. We haven't made some plays on the ball that I think could have rewarded us, or maybe when offenses make mistakes, we don't capitalize on that mistake. A la dropped picks. And that was my reference last week. I mean, after the game, I think some people took it to be about the offense, but my comments were about the number of drop picks we had in one game. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. And that's where you have to hurt teams. You have to turn those into turnovers, and when you don't, they're just incompletions. So we got to play the ball down the field better.
Coach, are you able to provide any update on Smael Mondon's status and just what he's been able to do this week?
Yeah, we're hoping to get Smael back. Can't wait to get him back. Hopefully it'll be soon. He's out there with us right now, and don't know when it'll be.
Kirby, going back to the 2 targeting calls and just the way y'all responded to them, what did you make of the way that KJ and JaCorey played? And is there anything different that you guys do, knowing that you have those guys that are going to be in a big spot with an extra week to prepare?
Well, KJ's played all year. He's rotated and played a significant amount of football, so we look at KJ as a starter, and he'll be prepared to play. And JaCorey started and played against Clemson the whole game, so we got other guys that are capable of other packages and things we can play, and we'll have to rely on that to prepare. But again, we're not really worried about that right now. We're worried about how do we block better, tackle better, cover better, so many things we can get better at, including those guys, including the guys that may or may not be out. They've got to get better.
I guess just wrapping up the targeting and everything, that I wasn't aware until after this week that there is an appeals process on that. Just wondering if you guys are exploring that at all for both or either. I understand it has to go through the NCAA, which was interesting. I didn't realize that. And then on the kickoff on the second half, I'm sorry I wasn't able to get down there at the game to listen to your post game, and it looked awful like he was trying to do what he did. I don't know whether he did or not, but I did see how Oregon did the very same thing the previous week at Ohio State. So can you just specify whether you were trying to do that or not, and kind of what the discussion was about what happened?
We were not trying to do what we did. We know about the Oregon play. That's usually a tactic you use after a 15-yard penalty, in which the ball would be kicked off from the 50, therefore recovered on the 35, maybe 37. But that's not what we're trying to do at all. And it was a failed attempt of something that we worked on, but it was not what we were trying to do. So it's not worth elaborating on because we may play them again. So I don't really want to explain it.
Coach, where have you seen, whether it be a position group or specific players, seen some significant growth here since your last bye week?
I think everyone's grown. I mean, the experiences we've had since the last bye week have been on the road at Alabama, home games against 2 tough SEC opponents, on the road at Texas. I mean, it's been a journey, and the next journey I think is 5-game stretch if I'm not mistaken, and it'll be a hell of a journey too, because every week is a season right now, and I'm proud of the guys working. I can't single anybody out. I think a lot of guys have shown improvement. Our outside linebacker group, we've gotten production out of Damon, Gabe, and Jalen when he plays that spot. Chaz had some big plays in the game. I thought those guys have really stuck out. But it's hard to single out one group.
Coach, I'm guessing drives and plays or whatever all run together as long as you've been around the game. But that drive against Texas, after they had cut the lead to 7 points, just number one, how impressive that was, and just what it really took for those guys to focus and get that done like they did. Yeah,
that was special. I told them after the game, the one thing that this offense has shown, and outside of at times being inconsistent, it's shown unbelievable resilience. And you think about the games we've been in that we had to respond to a score. It seems like every time in the second half somebody scores, they respond. I feel like that happened in Auburn. I feel like that happened in Mississippi State. I know it happened in Alabama because it was the entire second half. So they show great resilience, and that is a quality, although there are higher ranking qualities possibly. That is a very high ranking quality that not all teams have. And I don't like the back against the wall mentality that you come out fighting, because I don't like to play with my back against the wall. I want to start aggressively and attack. But there's times where you lose momentum and you have to respond to that, and they have been very good at that.
Some clarity on the targeting appeals process, which I'm not familiar with. Do you guys know if those guys are available for Florida, or is that still remaining to be seen?
I'll be honest with you, I'd rather not talk about it. So I mean, it's just one of those things that I don't really know the process, to be honest with you. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Glenn Schumann's wife had a baby last Wednesday, and I'm just wondering, as a coach, what's it like trying to balance the life and football aspects of it, and how would you assess how Glenn did in terms of inputting on the game plan and executing the defensive game plan last week?
Yeah, he did a tremendous job. I think first thing as a coach, you don't plan to have a baby in season, so that's the first mistake you make is that. You got to get your priorities in order when you do that. But it's also his third. So Lauren's incredible, coach's wife. She does a tremendous job supporting him and his players, and she's a wonderful mother and great wife. She was at Alabama with Glenn and I and worked there in the football office, and she does wonderful things for the players and does so much, and she's done a great job with her kids. And we knew it was around that time. He said he was going to have a plan for it, and he executed the plan to a T. So he didn't miss a beat. He got things set up where everything could go down Wednesday after practice, which we go home then, and he was back in work Thursday morning at 7 o'clock with a smile on his face and a baby born, and he did everything he needed to do to not really miss a beat. I mean, we have guys miss all the time. Our special teams coordinator, Kurt Benedict, just had a baby as well right after the Texas victory, so he planned his a little better for the bye week.
Chris Bull played on a lot of third downs on Saturday night. How have you seen him progress throughout the season and being able to rely on him in those big situations?
First off, if you want to say that players made one of the biggest jumps, going back to your question, Chris Cole has made from the time he arrived to now, he has improved immensely. He and Justin Williams are so high character and toughness and intangibles, they almost compete against each other and drive each other like off the scales in terms of competitiveness and doing things right no matter who's watching. And I think that's a really good trait for a young player, is to be like, it really doesn't matter who's watching, I'm going to always do it right. That's Chris Cole and Justin Williams. But Chris has put himself in a position because he has really elite speed and flexibility to be able to cover, and he's got great length. And I think Schumann did a great job identifying those two guys as high character, high intangible players. And Chris has helped us. He's gotten smarter and smarter. And, you know, the Smael situation has afforded him that opportunity. He and JaCorey have played in that role some in third down.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned the drops, both offensively and defensively, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. How can you as a coach go about trying to coach that out or improve upon that area?
You know, I think you have to be careful. You have to ask yourself why. You go through and watch them, you try to analyze it, and you want to create confidence. You want to create an environment of learning and teaching. And, you know, I mean, I thought Coley did a good job talking to him and explaining to him that I think we're second in the SEC in passes per game. So we must have hellified confidence in them if we're second in passing attempts per game in the league. So we do have tremendous confidence in them, the backs and the tight ends, and we're going to continue to do that. I don't think you can be a good football team if you can't throw and catch the ball. And we have a guy that's a weapon. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there in the country that wish they had a quarterback that could put them in the right play and has the ability to fix the protection and has the ability to get the ball to the right guy efficiently. So I know a lot of receivers want to play with a guy like that.
Coach, I think I saw a stat today on Brett Thorson. I know he's averaged, I think, 4.64 seconds on his hang time this year. Maybe I think that's the number one, you know, mark in FBS right now. Just how valuable is it to have a guy like that can put your special teams position to go in and make plays time after time again?
Yeah, he flipped the field great the other night. It wasn't so much the distance and the hang, which both were elite, but the ball placement. When you put somebody on the sideline, you know, there's only one way to go on the sideline. And he did a tremendous job of directional kicking and placing their returner, who we thought was really good, in tough spots. And he was clutch, and I thought he did a great job.
Kirby, what have you seen from Tate as he's tried to rehab this injury, and how close is he to being back?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of hard work. I mean, he could be one of the toughest players I've ever been around. Like, you don't question his toughness. He had a very significant tightrope injury. I mean, to the point it was more significant than Brock's. And he is fighting his way back. I mean, you know, he wasn't ready to play, but he was an emergency guy that could have gone in the game if we needed him to. And you know, we're hopeful he keeps getting better. I mean, I know it's not going to be because he doesn't work hard.
Coach, how important was it to have Trevor, you know, running efficiently and keeping the offense on schedule like that on Saturday, you know, on a day where the offense had 3 turnovers and, you know, had some shaky stretches?
Oh, Trevor didn't do that by himself. You know, like there would be a lot of people that would admit that no running back runs on the #1 defense in the country by himself. You know, somebody's up there blocking, somebody's cracking people, somebody's taking on hits. So he had tremendous help, but he did a great job. I mean, he has been a bright spot, especially like off the field, like energy, enthusiasm, leadership. I mean, he cares about those O-linemen. He does things for them that are just, you know, we haven't had guys around here do that. And he was big that night for us. He made some really big cuts and runs and exploded through the line, and it gave us a weapon that we needed.
Got time for one more question.
Oscar had the big catch in that game on Saturday. Just what have you made of what he's done this season, his role in this offense?
Yeah, Oscar's one of the best blocking tight ends in the country. He works really hard. He's a tremendous kid. I think he would tell you he's left some plays on the field that he wish he could have back, but he made the most of those. And that's what you're judged on, is your competitive character for the next play. And he made that play and continued to do it, and hopefully get a bigger role in the passing game as we keep going down the road.
Thank you.